It was Christmas Eve in the picturesque town of Winter Haven, where snow blanketed the streets like a pristine white carpet. This year, the festive spirit was alive with an annual tradition, the Winter Haven Winter Carnival. Families gathered in the town square, adorned with twinkling lights, merry carolers, and the sweet aroma of hot cocoa drifting through the air. My name is Jessica, and I was a travel blogger in search of unique holiday stories. Winter Haven seemed like the perfect setting for a heartwarming Christmas tale. Little did I know, the town held a chilling secret that would unravel as the night unfolded. As I strolled through the carnival, capturing the laughter of children on the carousel and the joyous faces of families sharing cotton candy, I noticed an old mysterious puppet booth tucked away in a corner. The wooden sign above read, "The Enchanted Marionette." Intrigued, I approached the booth to find an elderly couple, Mr. and Mrs. Pendleton, who had been running the puppet show for decades. They spoke of an age-old tradition, a magical puppet named Jingles, crafted by a mysterious toy maker and brought to life every Christmas Eve to spread joy and cheer. The Pendletons insisted that I witness the enchanting performance later that night, promising a tale unlike any other. As darkness fell and the stars twinkled overhead, I joined a small audience gathered around the puppet booth. The marionette show began with the lively tunes of a miniature music box. Jingles, a captivating puppet with a mischievous twinkle in his painted eyes, danced across the miniature stage. The children laughed, and the adults marveled at the craftsmanship of the magical puppet. However, as the night deepened, a sense of unease settled over the crowd. The puppet's movements became more erratic, its once jovial dance taking on a sinister quality. Whispers spread through the audience as Jingles seemed to pull the strings of its own accord, defying the control of Mr. Pendleton. The atmosphere grew tense, and the once joyful carnival now felt like a scene from a macabre theater. Jingles, once a harbinger of holiday merriment, transformed into a puppet of malevolence, its painted smile concealing a darkness that seeped into the hearts of those who watched. As the clock struck midnight, a haunting melody filled the air, and the puppet booth became a portal to a realm beyond imagination. The townspeople, unable to tear their eyes away, felt an otherworldly force drawing them closer to the enchanted marionette. Suddenly, the puppet's strings extended into the crowd, wrapping around unsuspecting wrists and ankles. Panic erupted as the townspeople became marionettes themselves, forced to dance to the twisted tune of Jingles. I too was ensnared by the spectral strings, my limbs moving against my will. The carnival transformed into a nightmarish masquerade, with the once jubilant crowd now puppeteered by an unseen force. In the midst of the chaotic dance, Mr. Pendleton's eyes pleaded for release, revealing the true nature of the cursed tradition. Jingles, a creation fueled by the toy maker's bitterness and resentment, sought to trap the souls of the townspeople in an eternal puppetry, forever bound to its malevolent performance. As the night wore on, the marionettes grew weary, their movements slowing and their eyes reflecting a profound sorrow. It was then that a courageous child, no more than 10 years old, broke free from the spectral strings. With unwavering determination, the child confronted Jingles, pleading for the release of the townspeople's souls. In a surprising twist, Jingles' malevolence wavered. The toy maker's bitter spirit, trapped within the puppet, was confronted by the innocence and purity of the child. The enchanted marionette hesitated, its strings slackening as the child's compassion began to unravel the curse. The townspeople, released from their spectral bonds, watched in awe as Jingles, now no longer a harbinger of darkness, transformed into a lifeless puppet. The child, their eyes filled with empathy, placed a small handmade ornament, a symbol of love and forgiveness, around Jingles' neck. With a soft melodic chime, the curse was broken, and the puppet booth returned to its once charming state. The townspeople, grateful for the child's bravery, celebrated the end of the macabre spectacle. The Pendletons, free from the toy maker's vengeful spirit, embraced the child as a hero. As the first light of Christmas morning painted the sky, Winter Haven returned to its idyllic snow-covered charm. The carnival, now devoid of any spectral presence, continued with laughter and joy. The tale of Jingles, once a dark legend, became a story of redemption and the transformative power of compassion, a Christmas miracle that would be retold for generations to come. 'Twas the night before Christmas in the small, snow-covered town of Evergreen. Festive lights adorned quaint houses, and the air was filled with the scent of pine and holiday cheer. I, Emily, a photographer with a penchant for capturing the magic of the season, arrived in Evergreen seeking the perfect shot for a Christmas-themed assignment. The townsfolk greeted me warmly, their smiles infectious, and their enthusiasm for the holiday contagious. As I strolled through the snow-dusted streets, my lens focused on the charming decorations and the joyous faces of children playing in the freshly fallen snow. Yet amidst the festive ambiance, a peculiar tale lingered in the whispers of the locals. They spoke of the old Victorian mansion at the edge of town, a place where Christmas lights dared not shine, and carolers avoided in hushed tones. The mansion's history was shrouded in mystery, with rumors of a tragic event that cast a shadow over its halls. Driven by my journalistic curiosity and the desire to capture the juxtaposition of holiday merriment and haunted history, I decided to investigate the mansion. The townspeople warned me with somber gazes, urging me to reconsider, but the allure of a Christmas story with a dark twist proved too tempting. The mansion loomed before me, its windows reflecting the soft glow of the neighboring houses. As I pushed open the heavy wooden door, a chilling draft welcomed me into the dimly lit foyer. The air, heavy with the scent of old wood and neglect, carried a sense of foreboding. My camera clicked with each step I took, capturing the eerie beauty of the abandoned mansion. The halls echoed with a haunting silence, broken only by the creaking of floorboards beneath my feet. I ventured deeper, guided by the faint sound of a melancholic melody playing on an ancient piano. The source of the music revealed itself, a grand hall adorned with tattered tinsel and dilapidated wreaths. In the center stood a grand piano, its keys played by unseen hands. The room seemed frozen in time, a macabre tableau of Christmas past. As I approached the piano, a cold breeze rustled through the hall, extinguishing the feeble candle flames that struggled to illuminate the space. In the shadows, a figure materialized, a woman in a tattered Victorian gown, her eyes hollow and sorrowful. She spoke of a tragedy that had befallen her on a snowy Christmas Eve long ago. A tale of lost love, betrayal, and a promise unfulfilled. The spirit, trapped in the mansion's spectral embrace, yearned for redemption, for the chance to rewrite the ending of her tragic story. In that moment, the temperature plummeted, and the room pulsed with an otherworldly energy. The Christmas decorations came to life, their flickering lights casting eerie shadows on the walls. The ghostly figure implored me to help her find closure, to uncover the truth behind the twisted events that led to her demise. As I delved into the mansion's history, I unraveled a web of deceit, heartbreak, and a long-buried secret. The townspeople, wrapped in the festive warmth of their holiday celebrations, remained blissfully unaware of the spectral tragedy that played out in the mansion's forgotten halls. The ghostly woman guided me through hidden passages and forgotten rooms, each revealing a fragment of the heartbreaking narrative. With every revelation, the Christmas spirit that permeated the mansion grew more malevolent, its presence felt in every flickering light and echoing note. In a climactic moment, I discovered the truth, a tale of forbidden love, betrayal, and a Christmas Eve that ended in tragedy. The ghostly woman, her spirit finally free, thanked me with a fleeting smile before dissipating into the ethereal glow that enveloped the room. As I stepped back into the crisp winter night, the once haunted mansion now stood silent and serene. The festive lights of Evergreen twinkled in the distance, unaware of the dark tale that had unfolded on that snowy Christmas Eve. The following morning, as the townspeople reveled in the joy of Christmas Day, I couldn't shake the lingering sense of the supernatural. The photographs captured on that fateful night told a story that transcended the cheer of the holiday season, a tale of love, loss, and redemption that would forever echo in the haunted corridors of the Christmas mansion in Evergreen. My name is Alex, and I'm a sucker for a good story. But this tale I stumbled upon in the forgotten corners of Ravenswood, went beyond the thrill of a narrative. It was a haunting experience that still sends shivers down my spine every time I close my eyes. It all started innocently enough. I'm a freelance photographer, always on the lookout for the next captivating shot. Ravenswood, a town buried in the folds of time, seemed like the perfect place to capture that elusive, eerie ambiance. The townsfolk were tight-lipped about the old mansion on the outskirts, warning me to stay away, but my curiosity had a mind of its own. One evening, the sun dipped below the horizon, leaving the town cloaked in shadows. Armed with my camera, I approached the mansion, its silhouette looming against the darkening sky. The air hung heavy with an oppressive stillness, as if the very atmosphere were warning me to turn back, but I pressed on. As I stepped over the threshold, an inexplicable force gripped me. Call it morbid fascination or plain stubbornness, but I couldn't tear myself away. That's when I heard it, the distant murmur of a haunting melody. It echoed through the halls, drawing me deeper into the mansion's heart. My senses heightened as I navigated through the labyrinthine corridors. The air grew colder, and the only light came from my camera's flash. Each step felt like a descent into a nightmare, yet something, an invisible hand, guided me forward. The haunting melody led me to a grand hall, adorned with decaying tapestries and a dilapidated chandelier, swaying in the frigid breeze. There, at the far end, a grand piano stood, seemingly untouched by time, and beside it, a figure, hunched over the keys, playing a haunting tune. The melody, a macabre symphony, filled the air as I watched in awe and terror. The pianist remained shrouded in darkness, their fingers dancing over the keys with an otherworldly grace. Mesmerized, I forgot the warnings, the eerie atmosphere, everything. But then, the music ceased. In the silence that followed, the figure turned slowly, revealing a face twisted by malevolence. It was Mr. Jonathan Blackwood, the owner of the mansion, his eyes gleaming with a darkness that transcended the mortal realm. "Welcome, Alex," he whispered, his voice a sinister caress. My heart pounded, but I couldn't move. Blackwood spoke of a curse, a pact with forces beyond comprehension. He spoke of a story that begged to be told, and I, in my foolhardiness, had become a part of it. As Blackwood's tale unfolded, the very walls seemed to pulsate with an unholy energy. He spoke of a thirst for revenge, of a plot twist woven into the fabric of Ravenswood's history. And I, the unsuspecting photographer, was now a player in his malevolent narrative. The air thickened with dread as Blackwood approached, his eyes fixated on me with a hunger for something beyond my understanding. Panic clawed at my chest, but my limbs remained paralyzed. Just as I thought the nightmare couldn't intensify further, a spectral figure materialized behind Blackwood, a ghostly apparition, tortured and vengeful. It was the true force behind the horror that gripped Ravenswood, a revelation that shattered the illusion of control Blackwood believed he had. The ghostly figure whispered forgotten secrets into my ears, urging me to escape before the mansion consumed my very essence. With a surge of newfound strength, I broke free from the invisible chains and sprinted through the suffocating darkness. But the mansion, fueled by centuries of malevolence, seemed to resist my escape. The corridors shifted, doorways disappeared, and every step led me deeper into the labyrinth of my own impending doom. As I stumbled through the winding passages, I felt the presence of the vengeful spirit growing stronger. Its whispers echoed in my mind, revealing the true nature of Blackwood's sins and the insidious curse that bound them together. With every corner turned, the mansion became a distorted funhouse of horrors, each room a tableau of suffering and despair. Shadows danced on the periphery of my vision, and the walls seemed to breathe with a life of their own. Just as I thought I had reached the point of no return, I found myself in a chamber adorned with mirrors, a surreal reflection of my own terror. The ghostly figure materialized once more, its eyes pleading for release from the shackles of the cursed mansion. In a final act of desperation, I smashed one of the mirrors with a nearby chair. The shards seemed to absorb the malevolent energy, casting a blinding light that enveloped the room. For a moment, the haunting whispers ceased, and the oppressive darkness lifted. As my senses returned, I found myself outside the mansion, the broken mirrors now shards of glass scattered on the cold ground. The once imposing structure loomed behind me, silent and foreboding. The ghostly figure appeared one last time, nodding in gratitude before dissipating into the night. Ravenswood, now freed from the clutches of its cursed history, felt eerily calm. The melody that had drawn me into the mansion had faded, leaving only the sound of the wind rustling through the trees. I stumbled back to town, my camera still hanging from my neck. The locals, oblivious to the supernatural horrors I had faced, continued with their lives. It was as if the nightmare had never occurred, but the memories lingered, etched into my mind like a scar. And as I left Ravenswood, I couldn't shake the feeling that the town held many more secrets, stories waiting to be uncovered, nightmares waiting to be unleashed. The tale of Mr. Jonathan Blackwood and the cursed mansion was just the beginning, a glimpse into a realm where reality and nightmare intertwined, forever changing the way I viewed the world.